Hi, I wanted to do a basic level guitar lesson for beginners. I have a kind of a problem with Guitar Hero. I think South Park said it best when he said if they spent half the time they do playing that game, playing a real instrument, they could get someplace. The reason that I say this is because when Guitar Hero first came out, I was thinking that, oh, this is great, this is going to get a lot of kids interested in playing guitar. But when I first picked one up, instead of it strengthening the skills needed to play guitar, I believe it's kind of counterintuitive that if you play guitar already, you kind of have to unlearn some stuff. And when kids go from conquering Guitar Hero, when they're just masters at that game, it's not totally an instant gratification kind of thing, but when you pick up a guitar and you try to make it work, it's pretty disappointing if you're expecting to be able to just riff on it. So with the time they spend playing and some basic training, the fulfillment of really playing an instrument cannot be expressed in words. So to begin with, guitar choice, I will always say Ibanez. I've been playing Ibanez since 83, 84. Before that, it was pretty much Sears and Roebuck guitars for probably the first, I want to say, 5-6 years I was playing. But it doesn't matter, because inside every person is a perfect musician. Your heart, your soul, it's just a matter of making your body capable of expressing that inner musician. So, to start off with, I believe you'll always get a better quality for a lower price when you buy Ibanez guitars, and they've got $100, $200 guitars that you can pick up and work with. You don't really need anything better than that until you're ready to hit the stage. So, and I choose a thicker pick. I play a 1mm, and the reason is I play a wide range from heavy to classical type stuff. So with a thick pick, I can hit it as hard as I want, and if I need something a little lighter, I just kind of turn it to the side so just the edge of it is hitting. The other part, real practice that you need to get your basic skill set is a lonely and painful process. You shed skin, you bleed, nobody wants to hear you playing because you're just doing random nothingness basically. But I do recommend, it takes a bit of energy to stay focused, so make sure that you have some very strong coffee. Mine is probably the equivalent of 2 pots of coffee in 1 cup, and probably 1/3 sugar. And I also recommend having some little chocolate donuts for a quick energy boost. Okay, let's start with how to hold the pick. Now, your thumb pretty much is going to lay flat across, like so. And your index finger is kind of pointing straight down the direction of the pick. So your index finger is kind of pointing at the tip, whereas your thumb is sideways. And there's variation with that. You can hold it between your toes, and as long as you practice, you're going to be able to play. Well, that's how a lot of people do it, is how I do it. And it also makes it easy to kind of turn it on its side to get a different strum. So, the most basic, boring, but most important practice that you can do, and it's no matter what level you're at, if you're just starting out or if you're getting ready to get on stage, it pretty much works all the possible muscles that need to be built to express yourself. And it's very simple. I'm on a 7-string. I'm going to try to ignore the extra top string, because most people don't have 7 strings. So basically it is just what they call a chromatic scale, which includes all notes, sharps, flats, which are the same thing, but sharps, flats, and whole notes. And you just walk from the first fret with your first finger, second fret, second finger, fourth fret, or third fret, third finger, fourth fret, your pinky. And what you want to try to do on this side is each note, you pick the first one down, and then try to pick the next one up, and the next one down, and the next one up. And it doesn't matter how fast you're doing it. You want to make sure that you get the notes clear, that you're holding the proper amount of pressure on the fret. You don't need to press too hard. When you're just learning, you have this tendency to just strain, but it's finding that balance between just hard enough and not too hard. So even if you've got to go at this speed, just make sure it's more important you get the notes clear than it is than the speed portion of it. That'll come in time. You're just building the basic muscle set to play guitar. Now, that's the first string. You just walk down. Now you drop down to the fifth string. Then the fourth. All the way to the bottom string, and then you go back. Fourth, third, second, first. Next string, fourth. Oops, fourth. Third, second, first. And eventually, what I do is I'll do that. And then you go up one fret. And then you go up a fret until you reach all the way. I do it all the way up to the 24th fret, and then back down before I'm going to play. Now, of course, if you're just starting out, you'll probably be spending a lot of time just on one string initially until you can get all those notes clear. And just in the beginning, focus on just walking up and down. And eventually you will build up a whole lot of speed. And I cannot stress enough, if you do this for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour a day, you will shave many years off of your practice time. You'll shave a lot of skin off your fingers too, if you're doing it the way that you should. But remember, it's a lonely process, but when it all comes together and you're on stage and you're playing a piece of music that you've written, the positive feedback that you get from the audience, it's undescribable. Well, this is the end of the first lesson. I hope that you take this to heart, because of all the things that I'll show you over the time, I think this is the most important. Before I go, the next step of that covers what they call a semitone, or a one fret. You can, the next logical step for practice and teaching your fingers to reach is to put 2 frets in between there. So you're going first fret, third fret, fifth fret, 7th fret, and doing that same walk down process. Covers the 2 basic spreads between your fingers when you're playing.